As far as today is concerned in our live demo, what we're going to be doing is talking about our marketplace intelligence platform that really assists and helps anybody who sells on Amazon to be a better Amazon seller, to be more effective, to find and recover any available money that Amazon has really made accounts or mistakes on your account. And we're going to start off by talking about Buy with Prime. Justin, will you give the audience members an idea of what Buy with Prime actually is and how it is actually a pretty big deal?
Yeah, absolutely. So Amazon a couple years ago rolled out a base level service called multi-channel fulfillment, right? And that was Amazon's first step into leveraging their fulfillment network and being able to fulfill orders through their fulfillment network on not or outside of Amazon.com. Since then, they've been working extremely hard to introduce a new software and platform built on top of their MCF solution called Buy with Prime, which is Amazon officially allowing you to market your FBA inventory, and two, the Buy with Prime badge on third-party websites. So whether that's Shopify, BigCommerce, and anything like that, and then leverage their entire pick, pack, and fulfillment network under the hood to actually make that a possibility. So it's Amazon's attempt to really try and grow their fulfillment network outside of just Amazon.com.
I think this is what is so critical with all of this is the idea of adding Buy with Prime to your website at time of checkout is beneficial in two ways. What Amazon is saying is that they're seeing an increase of a 25% conversion from individuals that add items to the shopping cart to actually going through and fulfilling those items and purchasing them. That the idea of Buy with Prime increases that conversion by 25% is huge. The other item that I think is really unique about this is that this is, in my opinion, Amazon's first step into competing against FedEx and UPS. FedEx and UPS have a monopoly. It's a duopoly, but they really act as one. They have a monopoly over the parcel network and the parcel system that individual shippers have options out there. Really, there's only two main premium options, and that's FedEx and UPS. The thing that's really interesting about Buy with Prime, those shipments would have gone with FedEx or with UPS, but they're now being fulfilled and actually being shipped out through Amazon. Justin, before we move on from Buy with Prime, and then I'm going to turn it over to any of the panelists to ask questions as well. Anybody who's any of the participants to ask questions, anybody who's on the call. I'm really curious on the idea of why somebody would not list their product on Amazon and how Buy with Prime has kind of a solution for that. Can you go over that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've noticed a lot of sellers are trying to diversify their online portfolio, right? So a lot of sellers put their products on Prime because there's such a big market share of people who buy products on Prime. However, that obviously comes with a cost, right? So we hear complaints all the time that it's very hard to keep your products from being copied either by Chinese knockoffs or by Amazon basics themselves. It's very hard to grow your brand from a marketing standpoint, right? So there's some interesting statistics that went out, but I have just a personal experience. I can't tell you the brands of the last 5 things I bought off Amazon, but I absolutely can tell you the last 5 things I bought off of a direct-to-consumer website, right? So a lot of companies, if you just want order volume, you go with Prime, but the mentality that a lot of Prime Prime shoppers have is you search for a product based on keywords like Google, you get hundreds of different brands all selling very similar products. And what are you going to do? You're going to search for the lowest price or the highest reviewed. And a lot of the times the brand isn't even a forethought, right? And that is not something that a lot of companies strive to build on Amazon. If you're not building your brand through the Amazon store, then how else are you going to build it? So there's a lot of incentive to drive traffic away from Amazon.com. There's a lot of benefits that you get by having your own website for fulfilling orders.
Yeah, and I think the idea of having visibility and access to your own data on your own website is huge, right? I mean, Justin, the idea that when you are listing your product on Amazon, you lose some of that visibility or you lose some of that access to some of that data specific to marketing, I think is really impactful, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have clients, there's a direct correlation, like people who buy through your site where you can put remarketing tags and smart pixels, and you can track things through Google Analytics. There's a much higher chance of converting a shopper on your own site, as well as getting that resale purchase. One of the things that Prime has consistently struggled with is trying to get people to purchase multiple products from the same brand on their site. That's a whole different level when you actually have your own direct-to-consumer site where you can remarket, show them your entire product catalog much easier than a keyword search on Prime. And then, like you said, the biggest thing is you own that data. You own that remarketing list. You have direct access to the customer's order information, their email. You can give them, subscribe and save newsletters and get way more information about the customer than what Amazon gives you through Amazon.com.
Yeah, I think it really opens up a whole new opportunity for both Amazon to really increase volume, decrease their capacity, which is really prevalent in their network right now. They have a lot of capacity that they simply do not want. They've got a lot of empty space in their trucks, trailers, and warehouse, not to mention on their airplanes. So much so that they are, I believe that they're pushing on this to hope that increases some of the volume going through their network. They've seen a slowdown from COVID. But I think more than that, they're also noticing that their air network with their airplanes has a lot of extra space too, to a point where Amazon has actually opened up contracts for any 3PL that wants to buy space on their aircraft. I think is kind of unique. So Justin, we have our first question here, and I'm going to go ahead and read it, and let's tackle this together. So the question says, so if I'm an omni-channel retailer, how do I gather the attribution of the customers at Amazon versus my own D2C channel? How do I know when clients are leaving me and shopping at Amazon? That's a great question. I'm going to give this over to you, Justin, to answer, but I think that the future is really heading in this direction, which is clients are needing to get more sophisticated on this omni-channel approach and understanding when clients are jumping from one website to buy it on another website. But Justin, do you have a specific response to that?
Yeah, so I've kind of got like some of the feedback we've gotten with sellers, especially some that are in Buy with Prime beta. So they've been utilizing Prime for like the last year. Let's see here. Oh, I'll answer the first question. I saw a second one just came in. But the main name of the game is it's really hard to kind of merge data together. Like I'm going to give you an example. If we have a Shopify store and you've got your own warehouse fulfillment and you're shipping products to FBA, you've already split up your inventory management systems to FBA and essentially FBM. And then you also have the ability to throw MCF into the mix. If you are able to put your stuff into Buy with Prime, what you're hoping to be able to see is if I sell 100 widgets off of my website every month and 150 off Amazon, if I incorporate Buy with Prime onto my site, how does that change the distribution, right? And what we've noticed across sellers who are in this program is it's always, they're seeing an increase in the amount of orders. So it's not like if I do 150 orders on Amazon at the end of the month and 100 through Shopify, it's not like if I add Buy with Prime, I get 150 on my Shopify store, and then I do 50 less the next month on Amazon. We're not just shifting customers left and right. It's a lot easier to look at those metrics when you can look at one unified inventory platform and see exactly where your sales are going, right? Because Amazon does tell you basically, here's how much we fulfilled through Amazon.com. Here's how much we fulfilled through MCF or Buy with Prime. and then pulling those metrics from Shopify and aggregating them together. So what you'll start to see is when you have Buy with Prime on your site, you should see a small drop is what we're seeing in your FBM orders, so the orders that you're fulfilling through your own, but a more significant increase in orders that you make with Buy with Prime. There isn't, I would say, an easy solution to say how are customers swapping between the two platforms, but we do see an increase in having that Buy with Prime on your website.
Second question was down below. Justin, I know you touched on this, but I wanted to make sure that you didn't have anything else to add.
Are you saying that if I move from MCF to FBA, I will be able to determine the customers that are shopping on Amazon versus my own D2C channel? Not quite. So one of the caveats with Buy with Prime, and I wouldn't say that moving all of your inventory from MCF to FBA is the thing to do. When you do Buy with Prime, they're fulfilling through MCF. The difference though is that when a customer checks out, you are able to retain their name, their address, their real email address, not the Amazon obfuscated one. And you're able to actually capture that data through your own Shopify platform, let's say, or through your own platform, and sign them up to newsletters and remarketing and all of that kind of stuff. You will also be able to determine, so going back to it, the Amazon All Orders report inside of Seller Central, you will be able to very clearly see the data of here's how many people bought through Amazon. So if I had 100 units in an FBA warehouse, 50 of my sales were bought directly from Amazon.com, and 50 of those widgets were also fulfilled through my own website. You will clearly be able to see the customers who are buying from your D2C versus from Amazon.com. So I don't know if that answers the question. I think it is, but please post another question if I wasn't clear enough.
Yeah, and if anybody has any additional questions, just drop it in the Q&A. We'll do our best to answer it in the allotted time that we have. I think really at this point right now, let's move on in describing what the MI platform, our marketplace intelligence platform, does to provide value to anybody who sells on Amazon, whether it's through this Buy with Prime program or whether it's FBM or FBA. There is some really interesting things that our software can actually do and provide in this data, as well as a combination of different reports to show in a visualization where you're selling and how you're selling through our sales visualization tool, which is what we're going to dive into next. But really at the top level, our system provides seller insights. So that would be, your sales versus fee breakdown, sales revenue heat map, etc. The sales visualization, which we're going to dive into, and I just chatted about. But a large portion of why clients pick Sifted and our MI platform is for the last two, and that is really the FBA fee analyzer. We have a really great widget that sits on top of your data and analyzes which SKUs are costing you the most amount of money, and in which ways Amazon is potentially overcharging you for those SKUs. Amazon obviously and clearly makes a significant amount of mistakes. And our job is to be able to make sure that we're bringing those mistakes to light, and that really we're providing some solid FBA audits and recovery fees that are out there where Amazon did make those mistakes and you have money that's owed. So I'm going to dive into the software right now, and we'll get into it. I'll click and bring this over. We've got a number of individuals on the call that either have not connected their data or this is their first time in exposure with Sifted and what the MI platform is. The first question that we often get asked is, how do I get my Amazon data into the MI platform? How does that happen and what's the setup process? Well, we made it as simple as possible. We call it 30 seconds easy. All you need to do is fill out this information here, which is your name, email address, create a password for the Sifted account, and hit create account. It will link you to your Seller Central account, and with a one button click, that's it. And Justin, what, a matter of maybe 4 to 24 hours, depending on the size of data that you have with Amazon, that's about it for dashboard creation?
Correct.
At this point, once the data is loaded into the system, it's displayed in a variety of dashboards here that you can see on my screen. Do you want to give just a brief overview to the kind of home dashboard screen, Justin, and then we'll dive into the sales heat map?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is included when you sign up and after we pull in your data. It's completely free to our clients on sign up, but really what it's going to do is give you a high level overview of your sales history, which you can sort by different fulfillment channels, your storage fees over time, which you can filter down specific ASINs. It's going to show you your reimbursement potential as well as audit performance if you guys are auditing your Amazon account for incorrect returns, bad inbound shipments, lost and damaged warehouse and destroyed warehouse inventory. We give you the net profitability on your top selling SKUs, as well as being able to show you exactly how many fees are being taken out on each one and what percentage is being taken out. We plot some of your returns history information, and then, of course, a very high-level overview of where your sales are going at in North America over the last 30 days.
Yeah, and to Justin's point, this is free for sign up. This is a totally free dashboard once you connect your data, which I believe strongly that anybody who sells on Amazon should have their data connected to this and should be given better insights, and it's free. It's a great option. We've got 2 questions here before we move on to the sales heat map. I'll bring that up and I'll ask these questions and we'll answer them one by one. First question says, so if they buy through Amazon Prime, I will gain access to the client data. Is there an integration between Prime and Shopify? Justin, do you want to take that?
Yes. I'm going to see if I can put a link in the chat, but Buy with Prime is currently compatible with Shopify, BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Magento, PrestaShop. Let me actually post a link in the chat, but it is ridiculously easy to set up. They've made it as simple as just copy paste this snippet of code, and then you can integrate Buy with Prime right onto your site. Of course, that assumes you've already set your products to Amazon and set everything up correctly with your inventory, but it's a very straightforward process.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that link to the chat. And so there's also 2 other links in that chat window. One is access to the sign up, which is what I just showed so that you can connect your data. Makes it really simple, that 30 seconds easy that we walked through. And the other is to set up some time for a personalized call or a demo with us. We make it as simple as possible. We want to make sure that everybody feels like we are answering questions. And if you didn't get your question answered on this call, set up some time with us and we'll have an individual go through it with you. The second question is, I want to change my Shopify store fulfillment from 3PL to Amazon FBA. So if I am integrating Buy with Prime in my Shopify store, do I need to install / add any third-party MCF app in Shopify store as well, or only Buy with Prime would work for all customers? Justin, do you have any insight to that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Firstly, I will say that from the 3PL to FBA side, most of our clients will run both. And the primary concern there is that Amazon has storage limitations, especially when you first start out with selling on Amazon. Like if you're not already fulfilling on Amazon, there are storage limitations. So a lot of clients will run a hybrid Buy with Prime plus their current 3PL provider. And when you go to a product page, it'll have 2 buttons, right? There'll be a checkout, and then they will go through your regular 3PL or a Buy with Prime. It gives you the ability to have 2 inventory stores in case one goes out, you always have a fallback type thing. And it really is as simple, like you said, as installing the Buy with Prime integration on the Shopify store. Now, setting up Buy with Prime in the back end is a little bit more intensive, right? You've got to upload your inventory, ship it to Amazon. You have to select which MCF products you would like to make Prime eligible or AK advertise on Buy with Prime. But once everything is integrated, uh, theoretically, let's say you didn't have any direct to consumer website, but you already had all your products in Amazon, and maybe even you were selling on Amazon, you could run 100% of your Shopify fulfillment all through Buy with Prime and Amazon MCF.
Really is a game changer. I think it provides clients with an opportunity to do omni-channel in a way that they really haven't had that level of control before. And we're getting inundated with a variety of questions from clients around the United States, but I also believe that there's a substantial amount of other clients that have not yet figured out or have not yet heard of this Buy with Prime, that I think it'll definitely be a boost for their business, for the right customer at least. Okay, those are the questions that have been answered at this point right now in the open category. If you have anything else, we'll keep our eye on that. If not, let's shift our attention over to our sales heat map. I think this is one of the best visualization tools out there for an Amazon seller. I think it is pretty phenomenal. Justin, do you want to go through and kind of explain the benefit or the value of the sales heat map, visualizing your client base in North America and what typical sellers use this for and the value they get out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of give you an idea, when you authenticate with your account, we're able to pull in all of your order history through Amazon. So this is going to be FBA, FBM, MCF, every acronym under the sun. If it was fulfilled by Amazon, or it was an order that you fulfilled through your own warehouse and placed through Amazon.com, we have access to all of that order data. And I want to go, because this sales heat map was helpful long before Buy with Prime. So I kind of want to paint the picture more from how our current clients have used it pre-Buy with Prime. And a lot of clients at some point, like I said, we talked about diversifying off Amazon.com. They want to build their own brand. And whether that means creating your own website, before Buy with Prime, that meant you had to set up a 3PL warehouse or your own warehouse and start fulfilling orders yourselves. There was a huge barrier of entry when it comes to fulfilling orders yourself. Like everyone who's worked with a 3PL, it's not as easy as a lot of people think, let alone splitting your inventory across multiple, Amazon warehouses and your own. However, what the benefit that you get with that, beyond everything we talked about, is the ability to see exactly where all of your orders are going with Amazon data, right? So we have sellers who are trying to grow their direct-to-consumer brands, and 80% of their sales or 90% of their sales currently run through Amazon.
Yeah.
We can leverage that data in our sales heat map and show you exactly where your sales are going. And a lot of sellers utilize this to grow their direct-to-consumer websites. When you're outside of Amazon.com and outside of Amazon advertising, where you can only bid on keywords, right? Because that's how Amazon's built, like Google search, not like a direct-to-consumer website. You can utilize Facebook campaigns and Google Shopping and AdWords and all of these other marketing tools that you can target not only demographics and keywords, but also geolocations, and create super targeted advertising campaigns that are pushing traffic to your own website and not Amazon.com.
Yeah, I think the marketing and advertising portion of this is phenomenal. At least that's the response that we've heard from our client base across the US, is that they're able to target clients in a way that they would never been able to before, utilizing just their standard information from Amazon. It is so siloed and so difficult to get that information out of Amazon that it is really, really challenging. Let's go through on this right side, and I'm going to look for the Q&A. If anybody has any additional questions on the sales heat map, go ahead and drop it in there. But let's go ahead and for the remaining time, go through the map controls here on this right-hand side, and what sellers can actually do to get down to that level of nitty-gritty detail that they're looking for. Justin, do you want to go through and indicate how they are able to use this filter box on the right-hand side in order to be able to see the information that they need to see?
Yeah, absolutely. So we store up to 18 months worth of order history, and you can obviously customize the start and end dates if you're concerned about specific time intervals. You can search any SKU or ASIN inside of your FBA inventory, both FBA or FBM. And then, of course, being able to choose the ship service level, that's more towards FBM shippers, and then the fulfillment channel. So the ability to see where are my orders being fulfilled from, and where are my sales going that I'm fulfilling from my own warehouse, right? So because a lot of carriers will do like a split SKU, certain SKUs they choose to warehouse themselves, and other SKUs you're going to be putting in with Amazon, maybe for price and cost reasons. So what you can do with this is, let's say you have, and how this tool has been traditionally used in the past is, you have your own network of 3PLs, and there's a SKU that you've been selling on Amazon, and due to Amazon's yearly rate increases and the fact that they're always changing up prices all the time, you start to notice that your profitability is decreasing, and you're trying to make the business decision of, should I be putting this in my own 3PL warehouse or not? And if so, which 3PL warehouse should I be putting that in? You can type in a specific ASIN, a specific SKU. You can look at where the sales are going and then help influence. If I know that I can ship this and store this on my own 3PL at this price, it's far more profitable for me to put it in this location and do fulfillment myself versus with Amazon, right? Same thing goes on the marketing side. If you're trying to grow a specific product on your website, you can see where the sales are going. And we have clients who have gone from nationwide demographic targeted campaigns to finding out that they can do hyper targeted, just a small set of zip codes are really what they're focused on growing. And again, all of that is just leveraging the existing Amazon data that they have.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly described. We've got a question that just came through, and we're getting close to time. Justin and I will stay on for the next few minutes here and answer any questions that come through, so no worries. The question that just came through says, customers who come to Shopify store, do they all need Prime subscription as well, or is it not required?
Yeah, so you technically don't need a Prime subscription to utilize Buy with Prime. You will need an Amazon account. However, that drives the, as we talked about before, the underlying fulfillment part of Buy with Prime is the MCF fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
So there's a separation of concerns there. You can have all of your products stored at an Amazon warehouse, and some of it could be layered on top of Buy with Prime, as in you offer 2-day checkout, you have the button on your website, it gives you the shipping times there. But you can also have another checkout button that is also fulfilled by Prime. It's just not, it doesn't have the Buy with Prime logo. So it gives you the ability to service both Amazon Prime customers and non-Prime customers through your Shopify store, with all of your inventory being housed with Amazon. And to kind of expand on that too, you can even fulfill Walmart orders with Amazon MCF. One of the other advantages you get is that ability to fulfill not just on Shopify, but any website, regardless of Prime or not.
Perfect. If anybody has any questions, drop it in the Q&A. As a reminder, in the chat window, in your Zoom window here, there's 2 links. One is to link your data if you have not yet linked your data and authenticated to our Marketplace Intelligence platform. It is totally free to do that. We have upgrade options that allow you to have audit the sales heat map visualization as well as the fee analyzer. And there's a variety of services on the audit portion as well that give you more options than what's currently out there in the marketplace. The second link that is in the chat window is schedule some time with us. If you have some very specific questions that you would like to have answered that you didn't get a chance to ask here, there is a Calendly link there. Go ahead and schedule a personalized demo of the software with one of our Amazon experts. We'd be happy to help out. Justin, is there anything else you'd like for us to touch on before we kind of turn over for final question and answer.
I have one more point to the sales heat map that we've gotten a lot of feedback on too from our clients. But beyond, one of the questions we get a lot is, okay, obviously in New York City, we're going to have potentially more sales than Maine, let's say, right? And what I find super interesting all the time is when clients use the sales heat map, they find anomalies all the time in their data that end up uncovering even more information about who their target consumers are. So in this example data that we have, I wanted to point out that there was a huge spike in orders that came from a town in North Dakota. And if you kind of scroll over the map, you'll just see there's just a huge spike there. And in North Dakota, specifically in Minot is how I think it's pronounced.
Yeah.
But we have clients who sell and they see these types of anomalies. And then it comes to find out there's a major Air Force base right there in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota. And then they discover, okay, actually, it turns out that I didn't even realize my products have a huge presence towards military personnel. And I just wanted to point out that we haven't met a single client who has brought up the sales heat map and been like, oh yeah, California, #1 in sales, New York, #1. They start to see these trends across certain products and certain SKUs that unveil a lot more about who's actually purchasing their product and aiding in the demographics. So we plan on incorporating a lot more into the sales heat map regarding population and giving you those metrics, but it still is able to show you your outliers and anomalies towards certain cities and sales.
Yeah, and with the addition of Canada and Mexico as well, gives you a holistic North America view, which I think is great. A lot of our clients have been asking for that, and to be able to see it visualized is awesome. To your point, Justin, there's a lot of interesting tidbits that are hidden in the data that you don't really notice until you see it visualized in front of you.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, we have one last question here that's come through. It says, so it means we need normal checkout, MCF automation app, or manual work, plus buy with Prime button, both options on store to serve all customer if we're completely going for Amazon fulfillment.
Short answer is yes. I don't know about how much manual work is required. I know that Shopify has a very decent integration with Amazon MCF that hopefully makes it a fully automated process. But the way to think about it would be when someone goes to a product page, you're going to have 2 add to cart buttons. One is going to be an immediate checkout with Buy with Prime, and then the other one's going to be more of an add to cart experience that pushes you through MCF. Both of those will yield the highest possible conversion rate on that product for servicing both Prime members who are more likely to take advantage of Prime, and then non-Prime members or people who have Amazon accounts but aren't paying for Prime will most likely go through the MCF process.
Got a lot of great questions on this live demo.
Yeah.
That's yeah, you're welcome. That's really what we wanted to be able to cover for the live demo portion. Justin and I will remain on for the next couple of minutes if anybody has any questions. Look at those 2 links that we sent to you in the chat window, which is link your data or sign up with set up a demo, personalized demo call with us, as well as some more information around Buy with Prime and how you can integrate that to your business. You can also email, and really kind of the interest on the EU program is large. We have expanded our reach on the audit capabilities into the EU. And if you've got sales on the EU portion side and you want to be able to identify if there's any available audits, we're piloting that out right now. Go ahead and email elise.gordon@sifted.com to be enrolled into that program. The last thing that I'm going to mention is that we are headed to Prosper, which is a large Amazon event that's going to be next month. And we're going to be displaying there at an exposition booth. We're booth 943. Come by, stop by if you're going to be there. We'd love to chat with you, hang out with you, and showcase a little bit more detail as far as what our software can do.